Yo, what is going on, Gromies? Hope y'all are doing well, growing well. Now, Gromies, after growing weed for a few years now, I've realized that the easiest and best method for me is going with organic soil and organic nutrients. Specifically, Roots Organic Soil and Gaia Green Organic Dry Amendments. I'm telling you, Gromies, this combo makes for a near fail-proof recipe that will get you to the finish line, especially for new growers who haven't been able to create a stable root environment. Looking at my latest grow, after about 4 whole months of taking care of these plants, it's finally come time to harvest these beautiful flowers. Some of these plants were started from seed and others were cloned, aka Blueberry Muffin and Mountaintop Mint. Throughout the grow, I documented the entire grow operation and learned quite a bit, especially for it being a winter to spring harvest in the desert. For this grow, we have an absolute entourage of strains. We have a Blueberry Muffin clone, a Mountaintop Mint clone, a Mountaintop Mint seed, Pineapple Chunk, Northern Lights Purest Indica No. 1, Ayahuasca Purple, Cheese, and finally Lemon Tree. Now, when I started these seeds, I just used random containers I found around the house and planted them in some HP Pro Mix Myco Coco, which I love for getting roots going. For the clones, I've had success in using Clone X Gel and putting these cuts into clear containers. I was using cocoa plugs, but eventually I found it was easier to just start a whole bunch of clones in the Myco Coco instead. After about 5 to 10 days, some roots will start showing, and that's usually when I move them over to bigger pots to start establishing a foundation. To help keep the clones settle in and develop roots, I just water when dry. After some time in their small containers, our plants have definitely outgrown these small pots and dry them out way too fast. This is also why we can see a little bit of deficiencies starting to show, so it's time to transplant. For this grow, to see how replicable it could be from my last, I used, again, half roots and half cocoa, but some plants are primarily cocoa, like Blueberry Muffin in this case. Also, just wanted to say, some pots I used a 3 gallon and in some others I used a 5. To train these plants in veg to get them ready for flower, I ended up taking off some of the fan leaves that were blocking branch sides below, with my goal to get the branch sides to grow a little bit faster instead of hiding underneath a leaf its entire life. I also decided to top every single plant for an easy training, even bouquet shape. Once the plants were set up and trained, the entire veg portion was just watering until they filled up the tent. I decided to put Lemon Tree, Cheese, and Pineapple Chunk in the 4x2 with Blueberry Muffin, Mountaintop Mint A and B, Ayahuasca Purple, and Purest Indica in the 4x3. In the midst of flower, some vibrant green leaves started to turn slightly yellow on some plants, so I fed about a handful of Gaia Green Power Bloom as soon as I saw the first indication of deficiencies. The reason I like growing organics is that the food and soil continuously break down to offer the plant nutrients, which gives you a large buffer of air when it comes to providing the proper amount of nutrients. I will say though, some plants were hungrier than others, so some got 2 handfuls of Gaia Green total. After about 50 to 60 days of flower, Blueberry Muffin, Mountaintop Mint A, Ayahuasca Purple, Purest Indica, and Lemon Tree were all ready for harvest. Now, although this wasn't a perfect grow, I learned a lot from my mistakes and the consequences of slightly neglecting the plants. The most important takeaway I learned from this grow was to be on top of watering and not let the pots dry out too much. When the pots dry out too much, the plant cannot uptake the proper amount of nutrients that it needs and starts becoming deficient. Some plants will harm because of this, which we don't want in the tent. After letting the pots get too dry too often, the plants did suffer some early fade, but ended up pulling through regardless. I definitely need to find a more optimized and efficient way to water my plants so they get everything they need without me having to make a million trips to the water source. Now, since I grew an insane variety of plants, there are definitely some strains in the 70 to 80 day flowering range, which feels pretty long, not gonna lie. Cheese, Pineapple Chunk, and Mountaintop Mint B are all looking to be a 70 to 80 day harvest, so I still have some time to go. Overall, besides the early fade on some plants, every plant has produced amazing potent smelling flowers, and I can't wait to try them and report back to you guys on my experiences. I'm also most excited to share my experiences with the Barneys Farm genetics due to the mixed reputation in the cannabis community. The one takeaway from this grow is, although definitely a sit back and watch type of grow style, you cannot watch too long. Well, Gromies, this is how I've been growing weed recently, and it's been extremely easy and laid back. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment. If you haven't seen my other grow/smoke reports, check them out. Keep it up out there, Gromies, and stay motivated in this beautiful medicinal hobby. #RomiGang.